What is going on, everybody? We're back. I'm back. Welcome to the podcast where Ben knows absolutely nothing. Last week we had a special guest, Ian Matthew, which was absolutely phenomenal. It was so great having him here. It was a lot of fun to talk to. Really interesting a guy. His work ethic is something I really envy, and it helps somebody like myself who's really just trying to put everything together and kind of doing it, like everybody else, or just kind of, just doing the best you can. And to have people around like that are just doing the best they can is important. I think that's the tough part, is having the right people around you, especially when you're trying to accomplish anything. I mean, just accomplishing something is hard, never mind doing it alone. So when you feel like you're alone, it's nice to draw on those people. So it was really great having, Ian Matthews here. And he was just, he has a new single coming out. I believe that's April 6th or 8th. Just go buy it. Listen to it, especially if you like his music. I'm a huge fan. Go follow him on Instagram. We've done a couple things together, and we'll be working together in the future as well on a couple of projects. So I'm really excited about that. So, and that's episode 10 of Ben Knows Nothing. Go check that out. So over the weekend, it's been a beautiful Easter, hanging out with my family. We do the fat Italian thing and just eat as much as possible, then just kind of go into a coma. And I know you'd think that it would change for me, considering the career path that I've chosen, one of my career paths that I've chosen. But no, that's not the case. We still, despite me working on my fitness, I'm constantly going back to my family and just enjoying the time with them. And there's something to be said about just hanging out with family. Man, that feels good. Through the pandemic and everything, people have been, really on edge and just kind of so uptight, and for me, spending time with my family is the best, man. I mean, we got everything. I mean, if you're not quick, you're dead in that family. If you're not cracking jokes, if you're not there, like I said, you can't get a word in. These people are quick with lighting each other up. And I get lit up quite a bit when I'm there. I'm kind of an easy target. I'm an odd looking, duck, and I'm a weird dude. So it's easy for me to really take it. But man, is that funny. I know for some people, like, their worst nightmare is getting roasted. But to me, I look forward to it. I think it's so much fun. So much fun getting lit up by your cousins, and so much fun just hanging out with everybody. And of course, I throw it back. That's my favorite. I would like to think I'm up there with the greats as far as being able to light somebody up. So, Easter, it was absolutely phenomenal. I hope everybody had a good Easter. It was nice, a good time. My thing is like with Easter, it's one of those traditions where I was like, as a kid, I used to like and hate Easter at the same time, because there's two things. Like, I was raised like super religious, like very, very religious. My dad was like really into it. My mom was really into it. And, there's nothing wrong with, going to church every Easter or going to church every Sunday. I mean, teaching his own. But for me, Easter was always like, yeah, we get some candy. I trade my brother, Jake, because he likes Peeps. And like I said, I said I wasn't going to mention it. Peeps are disgusting. The little marshmallow, things. It's just like how easy of a candy we can make. We're just gonna put marshmallow, roll it in sugar, and give it to people. And that's what they are. That's literally it. One of my friends said she had to look up what a peep was before she was like, I didn't even know what a peep was. I'm like, well, you're not missing anything, because they're freaking gross. Yeah, they're just nasty. But I used to trade my brother, because he used to like Peeps. He'd trade me the chocolate. I'd trade him the Peeps. But then we would go to sunrise service. Does anybody, hopefully some of you can relate to this, going to sunrise service? What that is, with people, they always say, like, he has risen. That's because Jesus rose from the dead on this day. essentially zombie Jesus. That's kind of like that's kind of the what it was to me. I always was like wondering about that as a kid. I'm like, what did he look like? Was there any damage done to him, or did he just float up? I just had so many questions because I'm a skeptic, so that's what I do. But I essentially know nothing. So no, so like to see, Easter, dope, basket, yes, chocolate, yes, trading my brother his disgusting peeps for chocolate, great. Getting up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock or whatever to get to a place to watch the sunrise while listening to a guy talk about Jesus rising from the dead. As a young kid, I remember being like, please get me out of here. And I would see people falling asleep. I mean, it's early, man. This is like, you'd see all the dads, I remember, all bundled up, coffee in hand, and I remember just like all the moms, hands on the kids, just kind of like looking forward blankly. And then the kids like, oh, this is terrible. Like, why are we here? There's this beautiful field that we can go run in, and we're not able to. Like, if you want to make a really dope sunrise service, make it like, hey, and I get it. We want to get these kids young. We want to get them, we want to get the Lord's Spirit in them and everything. But for me, it's like, dude, let me run around while you preach. Because what's more joyful? What's more joyous than while you're preaching about the good Lord, we're all playing in the background, just laughing, having a good time, falling down, getting up. That way the parents are just like, wow, these kids are having a good time. Everybody's fun. But I get it. But I used to just look forward and I'd be like dozing off because, like I said, it's early. It's cold too. Like, what was it, like 30, almost 40 degrees or something? So, you're cold. You're freezing your ass off, And as a kid, you're just looking forward. The reverend's got the book. He's every once in a while looks up to make sure you're paying attention, which is also, I used to get the evil eye all the time in church. We're talking the stank eye from that guy. He would like look, he'd like, he's like surveys, and he'd see me and I'd be like, and you could just see, he's like, oh dude, the good Lord's going to skip over you, man. Like out of all and man, was he right. But it's like, it's such a hard thing. So those of you who have gone to sunrise service, you guys get me. You guys feel me. Those of you who have not, it's like, one, you all probably you'll probably go to hell. But that's not me saying it. That's, that's the Lord. So, so sunrise service, not for me. Really glad that I'm adult and don't have to go anymore. But I did I get to see my grandparents, and my grandmother was going to go to Easter service, but she missed it because her car wouldn't start, which is a problem. I got to look into that. And then she says she watches it on TV sometimes. And I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. Like it's hard. It's hard to go to church just because you're like, you have to go and you have to get ready, get dressed. You have to wait to be judged by all the people that are there, including, the big guy looking down on you, and then, you got to go, put those wafers in your mouth. I could actually tell you, I'm a Methodist. I was born, I don't believe now, but I went to church, and I remember what we do is we did the bread and we did the wine, the apple juice. Well, my family, they're Catholic, so they're like legit Catholic. So they do the wafer in the wine. But I remember I went one time, and it was for Easter, because I remember they did a communion. They did where you got to go up get the wafer and the wine, and you do it two ways. You either open your mouth like this, and the dude places it on your tongue, like he throws it. He's like, there you go, boom, smack, and you give it a chew. Which, by the way, they could work on the flavor of those things. Just saying. And then, or the other way is like you put your hand under your chin, and so you don't drop any of the Lord's flesh. And you just are like, but I did both. And when I got up, because I didn't know, I was just going to sit in the pew. And I was like, no, I don't want to be the only guy in the pew. Once again, succumbing to the pressure of a social contagion. I need to get up with them, and do it. So I went like this. I gave him the hand and the tongue. And this dude, there's like 35 people behind me. I was only like 12. And I go like this. And this dude, he like legit has it in his hand. I'm like, dude, throw it right here, bud, right there. And I remember him shaking his head. Like, no, that's not how you don't do that. Like you have to pick one. So I remember this so well because I believe it was my cousin Nick was laughing. I was going like this, and he was just like, the priest shaking his head, and I went like throw it on me, man. Give me that. Give me the Lord's flesh. Give me that cracker. I remember being like, come on, man, give it to me. And then finally dropping my hand and just, I always thought this just seems so odd, being like, and then he did it. He placed it on my tongue, which I did get a little bit of his knuckle. You think he would practice a little bit better on handing a cracker to you without touching your tongue. But no, I got a little bit of his knuckle in my mouth. So I not only got the body of Christ, I got a little bit of the body of the priest too, because he rubbed, his knuckle on my tongue. And then I was bright red. I remember because so many people were in line, behind me. I was so embarrassed. And I went around, and I remember as I went around, I could see my cousin laughing, and then went all the way around. And my grandmother, I don't think she knew what happened, because she was like 2 behind me, 3 behind me. And I remember I sat down. I was like, my cousin came back around. I remember like, I didn't know how, you guys do it different. We get to tear the bread in my church. You guys have to, I'm sorry. I just didn't know. I was out of practice accepting the Lord's flesh, and it was like, I was so embarrassed. I remember I was bright red for like 45 minutes. So listen, those of you who've gone to church and had a traumatic experience like this, maybe I'll try it again, sometime, but no, probably not. Those of you, some of you guys just kind of go into church and you just kill it. You guys are like, yo, this is what I do. Boom. I didn't know. And now I'm embarrassed. And to be honest with you, I still think about that situation maybe every 4 or 5 days. Like, those embarrassing situations. Like one time I told a joke, and this is when I was dating. This is when I was engaged at one point. Awful idea. Don't do it. But I was engaged at one point. I remember I told a joke on the table. There was like 7 people there. And do you know, I still think about that joke bombing. Like I think about it at night and I cringe. I'm just like, ugh, It's one of those things where like, that's what happens when you have anxiety like I do. You think of the dumbest shit that you've said and it comes up and you're like, yeah, I said that. Yep. And you think of every scenario when it can go wrong. And I actually remember what I said. What I said was, she said that she dyed her hair. She was like, oh, I dye my hair like every a month and a half or something. And I said, it's great. It's like being with a new woman every time. And it was a joke. Like it was clearly a joke, but that whole table, dry and as angry as they could be, were just, and it bombed. And I remember I just wanted to kill myself. I was like, ugh. Could you have told a more stupid joke? And I thought it was actually kind of funny, but I still think about it. It's been 8 years and I still think about that. So I'm still embarrassed about the communion thing too. Every once, like I said, every 4 or 5 days you think about it. So listen, we got to get into it. It's time. We have quite a bit to get through, and I have some stories to tell about them. But here we are. It is hell yeah versus hell no. I just smacked my big old nose on this microphone, hence why Ben knows nothing. So let's talk. The first one, the very first one, and this was a submission by Taylor. Taylor, you should use U2, the band, U2. Now, here's my thing. Speaking of, Catholics and stuff, that dude Bono is hard into Jesus. I'm pretty sure he's like a saint or something. It's like Saint Bono. Yeah, isn't it like U2? It's like Saint Bono or something. Now, U2 have had obviously massive success. So I think, we need to kind of go over this. How many? Holy shit. Okay, so this is how many singles they've had. Okay. You need to give respect when respect is due, okay? They've had 83 singles, 14 albums, and 73 music videos. Videos on albums, 15. That's insane. So we got to give respect where respect is due. They have obviously had crazy, crazy bangers. Like One, With or Without You, Beautiful Day. Okay. But here's my thing. When you have a band like this band is massive. That dude is a saint. He's always hanging out with the Pope and shit, taking pictures. So, for me, these are a bunch of old guys that can jam. You don't have 83 singles and not be any good. So, for me, it's like, this is an easy layup. I like it. But what was it about Apple phones? Wasn't it Apple phones? Like every time you'd plug in your Apple phone, it would play a U2 song. Remember? Like every time you linked it up, it would play a U2 song. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. Yeah, it would play like the same one or something like that. They made a deal. They must have, because my phone did it too. And I was like, I don't even have U2 on here, but it was automatically installed. So they got to be shaking hands with the devil on this one. Taylor, I'm going to say hell yeah on this one, obviously. So let's find out what the people said. These bastards. 70% said hell no, and 30% said hell yeah. Well, listen, we don't, we're not always going to agree on everything. I think that's an obvious, banger, and we got to go for it. So, yeah, come on now. Now, the next one is the very contested pineapple pizza. Now, I got to be honest with you, or Hawaiian pizza, pineapple pizza. I don't know. Can you say Hawaiian pizza now? I don't think you can. It's not culturally appropriate. So, I'm saying Hawaiian pizza. So, pineapple pizza, to me, is obvious. Like, I'll order it. I will order one. I'm like in the mood, the salty, the sweet. You know what I think? I think our American palates can't take. There's something about us that's like, it's like either sweet, really sweet, or nothing, or make it salty in this. So to have something pineapple pizza that's like salty and sweet, come on, you could put that in your fat suckholes. I just think like every single thing that I try, as I used to watch Great British Baking Show. I'm still waiting for the next season, even though I binge watched it all in like 2 days. So what I noticed is they always are critiquing like us for having really hyper sweet stuff. So I think that like the sweet, the salty, I think we're getting better with our palates as we kind of go. And pineapple pizza's on there, man. You get a little hit, that sweet, salty, little citrus. It's good. So for me, this is an easy layup because I will order this. I'll order a pineapple pizza. So I'm going to say it right now. Pineapple belongs on pizza, okay? I don't know what sort of, shit you guys are saying. It doesn't. Y'all are missing out. And if you don't like it, like I said, you probably like Pizza Hut. You probably like Domino's, which taste-wise, I guess Domino's is actually okay. I think Domino's over Pizza Hut. Maybe we can do a hell yeah, or Pizza Hut versus Domino's in its entirety, in its history. I think that'd be a good segment. I'm still Team Domino's. I had a girlfriend that worked for Pizza Hut. I had a best friend that worked for Pizza Hut. I had all my friends worked for Pizza Hut, and I still preferred Domino's over that. I used to get the pizzones, which is pretty much just like a calzone, but they called it a pizzone. I used to get those. My trashy ass would eat those with the ranch dipping sauce. Oh my God, what a little ham fat sandwich I was. My head, I had no neck. It was just like connected to chin. It was like nose, mouth, neck, no chin, no anything. Which, I still have a weak chin now. But anyway, saw a picture of my great-grandfather the other day, or yesterday. Dude, his chin was insane. I mean, his chin just was a beautiful chin. What a beautiful man. And I don't know what, I didn't get that chin genetics. Anyway, so for the very first time on this show, we have had a complete draw with the pizza, which means eventually we're going to have to revisit it. So it is 50-50. 50% said hell yeah, 50% said hell no. So it's our very first draw on Ben Knows Nothing. So pineapple pizza will have to circle around and do it again. This next one, it raises some questions for me. So we have the Scratch and Sniff boxers brought to you by American Eagle. Now here's my thing. If you have Scratch and Sniff boxers, like if you're worried about the scent of your beans and your bits, if you are worried about like making it smell good, just spend a little bit more time in the shower. You know what I mean? You need to wash properly. Get a loofah, scrub those beans, scrub the shaft, scrub it all. You know what I mean? Really, light that thing up. Really give it a good rub and a scrub. And I feel like if you have to have scented boxers, I think that you have somebody has either said something to you in the past, and maybe you should reflect on it. Like, whoa, bro, you stink. You know what I mean? Like you got some stinky bits. It's like you gotta wash up, fellas. You gotta make sure you just give it underneath, sides, top, all of it. You got to make sure. So, this is it's important. Hygiene is important. Now, if you are a female and you're to me, I feel like any female is going to just like spray something instead of go wash. I feel like she listens to Cardi B. And that's just me. Like I really believe that females who listen to Cardi B like on blast, who say shit like my kids are my world, but yet the grandparents have custody. I feel like they're the ones that Febreze their lady bits. They're just like, I'm ready to go out. Shh, let's go. And I feel like they'd also wear like scented underwear. And it's like, that's not going to cover hygiene. Scrub your thing. Okay, wash. Just make sure you wash up. That's all I got to say. So for me, these scented briefs, I didn't even know this was a thing, and I was like, no. And especially when you say Scratch and Sniff, I can't do it. That's nasty. So for me, it's a big old hell no for me, because I would not wear these. And 72% of you said hell no, and 28% of you need to go check your parts, give it a little whiff and sniff test, and just get it together, because get nasty. So this one was a late entry. It was one that I was following. I was following a Jeep, and on this, I'll put it up. It says, "Don't follow me. You won't make it." And then has a picture of a Jeep with the kids, like, how many kids they have. The license plate was something along the lines of Jeep too. And there's also like, if you see this sign, flip me over. That type of, it's a Jeep thing. Beep if you got a Jeep. And you know how annoying that is? It is annoying. And I drive a Subaru, so let's be, so if I drive a Subaru and I see another Legacy or another Subaru, people will nod to you. They will. And I've looked over and, got the nod. But the Jeep thing is annoying because it's like, we're in a Jeep. We can't get stuck. We can't do it. It's like, yes, you can. You definitely. I've seen more Jeeps wrapped around telephone poles and flipped over than anything else, because people are like, we can do it. It's a Jeep thing. You see this sign, flip me back over, and it gets so annoying. And I know so many people with Jeeps, so I'm like hating on most of my friends that I know. And one of my friends, I remember, and we'll bleep out his name, had a Jeep, and I remember we were, having adult beverages. And he tried to run his Jeep over a snowbank, and then, sure as shit, as his little drunk ass. Yeah, he looks like if a kid named Kyle, the stereotype of Kyle, Monster Energy drinks, Oakley sunglasses, beards, IPAs, mated with a hobbit or a dwarf. That's what looks like. I'd put up a picture of him, but maybe I'll put it up in the clip when he sees this, 'cause he's not going to be happy. But whatever. So he got stuck, and he's like, "It's a Jeep thing. My Jeep can do it." Like, I got it. Stuck within seconds. And then my brother had to come and pull him out. So for me, I've seen so many Jeeps wrapped around poles. I've seen so many Jeeps stuck that I'm sorry, I can't get behind this. It's a Jeep thing. And I want a Jeep. I want a Jeep Grand Cherokee. Would be really nice. But enough with the Jeep Wrangler, Jeep thing. It's just over. It's overdone. And those things get stuck all the time, so I can't get behind it. Maybe it's a different tribe or a different group, but I'm just hating on it. I don't care either one. It's just I'm so tired of beeping. It's a Jeep. Beep. It drives me nuts. So, I'm gonna hell no this Jeep BS. I just can't. My eye was twitching, and I know. And 69% of you said hell yeah or hell no, and 31 said hell yeah. So, and I did look, and 30% of them that did say hell yeah did even own Jeeps. So that was actually really funny. I'm gonna reach out to them afterwards. So yeah, I mean, seriously, it was a really good selection today, and it was really good. I mean, everything has been great. So I am out of here. I'm out of here. I have a crazy busy day today. I'm really excited because you have a lot of new things going on. Look for new content. Please don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe if you guys like this podcast. If you guys like the clips, please share it. Thank you all for your support. You guys are all a bunch of silly gooses. And thank you all. So I'm out of here. Later.